last year. So
that was good though. That was good. It was last year's, but it said huge convention on it. Yeah, I got to do this. I don't know if you've heard this, Sid. I got so many windows I need to close out. Why do I have so many windows open? What's up, business nerds out there tuning in? You're just watching the sausage be made here as we get this live show fired up. And,
good.
Oh, there you go. That's a nice looking background. That's a nice looking background. Check this out. I have music. I have intro music. I'm gonna cue it up. You ready?
Yeah, let's hear it.
Ready? Now I can get us live on the radio too. Now we're live on the radio and we got the background music. We could probably have your son do a rap over that music. We'll probably just freestyle it.
Maybe.
Oh, there you go. Yeah. Good. Oh, that sounds good.
Was that the same tune?
Yeah, I think you nailed it. I think you jumped in real well there. Oh, what's up, everybody? Happy Wednesday. This is a super special bookkeeping beer and BS / huge convention digital kickoff. Sid, do we have a name for the huge convention show? Like
it's just called the Huge Live. It's the Huge Live Show.
The Huge Live Show. So we're we're doing a huge live show and bookkeeping beer and BS at the same time. Minds are being blown. But it's about that time. The huge convention is literally 3 months away. It's like we've gone 3/4 of the way around, and now we're 1/4 of the way left.
1/4 to go. So technically today we've got 104 days until we kick off the huge convention.
But who's counting? But who's counting?
Who's counting, right? I don't get too excited about that stuff. I'm like a school kid. I'm like, yeah.
Well, and since you have a lot to do with it, it's also like, oh shit, there's only like 100 days left. And there's still we got how many speakers are we interviewing? We got a lot of people to interview. We got a lot of people to talk to.
We have 26 speakers to interview today.
Right now.
Set
them up. Line them up. Like taking shots in college. Line them up. Let's go.
We have 26 speakers. We got two keynotes and then all of our breakout sessions. And we'll be also interviewing and featuring some of our vendors and our show sponsors. So these are some, pretty important to the convention and really smart business owners.
Hell yeah. What let's do before we get into like what people can expect for this year, let's talk a little bit about last year.
Yeah.
Last year was epic at the Gaylord, and I think it's back at the Gaylord. Now we probably can't talk too much about it because we might have to do like trivia again during the huge live where we like give away tickets.
Yeah.
Well, if we're doing that again this year, I guess we got to talk about it.
Why don't we do this? We talk about it. We can talk about everything. Be very open. If anybody wants to win tickets for the trivia, they just need to watch this episode.
Oh yeah,
so they'll get most of the answers there.
Yeah, that's a good point. That's like a good teaser to keep everybody's attention. You guys want to stay tuned. You're gonna get the answers to trivia. I bet Jason Hefner wins like 8 tickets. Yeah, got my money on him winning some tickets.
Yeah, Jason, he can bring everyone from. Where's he at? Jacksonville, Florida. He's in Florida.
He's somewhere down in Florida. Yeah, he'll bring the whole town.
Bring everybody from his town.
Yeah. Let me do this. I gotta find us on the interweb so I can share this to my page. I should probably like do that. You'd think I'd be on top of these things since I literally host shows like damn near for a living. But there we go. Sharing it. Shared.
Cool. Share. As you dive in, you've been doing your bookkeeping beer and BS now consistently. It's like, has it been 3 years?
I think it's pushing 3 years.
Yeah.
I think the podcast has been out for a little over a year, but even before we had the podcast going, and we're closing in on 200 episodes of that because we usually do 2 episodes a week. So damn near going on a couple years of that. But yeah, I think the Facebook Live / YouTube Live has been going for 3 years now.
Yeah. So with your burgeoning media enterprise, empire, so you got the podcast, the after hours live stream, and then the radio show. Those are all 3 separate, correct?
So the radio show, we're doing the radio show right now. We're live on the radio. So we got that, and then we do the late night happy hour show, which we do every Wednesday night. So I got 2 shows every Wednesday. Sometimes I sprinkle in a bonus. But I take both of those and turn them into the podcast. So the podcast catches it all. So if you catch it later and you can't catch my ugly mug live on a feed, you can always catch it later on the Bookkeeping Beer and BS podcast. So this show right here will be duplicated, be triplicated all over the place. And we're running this live right to the huge page, the huge Facebook page. So
okay, cool.
It's all over the place.
Cool. Well, before you were doing your digital mastery and sharing it out, you mentioned it's like, before we talk about this year's huge, let's talk about last year's huge. So let's talk about last year's huge convention.
Last year's huge was huge, man.
It really was. I was thinking about it, and the progression of the huge. Last year was the 10th anniversary. It started the first year. There were a few dozen people, and then there were 100, and there were a couple hundred, and a few hundred, and then we broke the 1,000 mark in Atlanta in 2021. We had 1,200 people. Last year we had 1,500. These are round numbers, but around 1,500. We're expecting 2,000, 2,200 people there as attendees. Plus, the trade show is almost sold out already.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Damn.
I think we've got like 5 booths left.
So I'm the bookkeeper for the huge now. Did you know that? I'm doing the books for you guys.
All right.
So I get to see the who's buying booths, and I get to see who's buying tickets. And every day of that, I'm like, well, I do it once a week. But when I'm in there, I'm just like, oh, sweet. Like people that I don't know. Right. And I think that's one of the cool things about the huge. I remember last year you and I emceed it together. I think we're doing that this year, unless you guys fire me. But
unless they fire both of us, we'll see.
That's true. Yeah. But you had said, hey, we got to be careful to not make like too many inside jokes, because there's going to be a lot of people that have no idea who Sid and Dan are. And I was like, that's kind of cool. Because most of the time you go to a convention or a show and you're like embarrassed because people know who you are and you don't know who they are. But at the huge, there's like so many new faces, because the industries that we're all in are growing like crazy. And there's this cross-pollination across so many industries. Like I feel like the huge started out and it was very window cleaning focused, right? Yeah. Well, and then pressure washing kind of came along, and then that started to be a thing that the show did. Well, and then like pressure washing guys started doing paver sealing. And so all of a sudden that started coming. And then a bunch of these guys started getting into floor coatings. And now all of a sudden that's a thing, right? And it's like, it won't be too long before there's people selling lawnmowers there. And there's going to be, and we're on Turf's Up Radio right now, there's going to be some green industry people. It's just so cool to watch the evolution of how all these things come together. And there's so much value that can be shared across the different industries. And when we get out of our little silos, we realize we're all running super, super, super similar businesses. And there's just so much value to be added from a show like the huge convention that can bring it all together.
Yeah, for sure. And that's, some of the other industries that have toe dipped into the huge convention that we're bringing them into the families, like house cleaning and Christmas lights. And, you mentioned floor coating and landscaping and, lawn maintenance and all those things. You're going to see that really explode over the next few years as we continue to grow, because like you mentioned, the businesses are so similar. It's like they are 95% the same. And that 5% is your personal brand or the things that you stand for, how you, in your marketplace, your USP, your unique selling point. And what are you doing? Are you mowing grass? Or are you cleaning swimming pools? Like the business of it, the business is the same. And so those universal truths that you can learn from anybody, we can learn it from the garage door guys, or we can learn it from the pool guys, or we can learn it from the window cleaner. Like those things transfer industries, and smart people are smart people. It doesn't matter what industry they're in, and we can learn from them. So we try to bring in, we really worked hard last year and this year to bring in speakers that are not part of the industry.
Yeah. Last year's speakers were so good. You guys are screwed, Sid. There's no way you can outdo the speakers from last year. Your host.
I know there was a double-edged sword. We got Hamish and there's Jason. All right.
Jason's checking in. He said he's excited for the keynotes. His wife is excited for the hotel.
Awesome. Yeah. And Jason was one of the guys last year. He brought his family. He brought his son. He brought his wife. And so he got to learn business. He got to meet people, and they got to have fun together as a family. There's a water park there at the hotel. And Jason mentioned last live stream I was on when he popped in, he made a comment. It took me a second to figure out what he meant. And he said, "Brother Dave is costing me a fortune." And I was like, "What does he mean?" And then I read the rest of it. He said, "I bought my son electronic drum kit." When he said Brother Dave, he's talking about my brother Dave, who's the musician that put together the band that played live. We brought the Nashville music scene to the hotel.
Yeah.
And the guitarist and lead singer came down and played a song by request from Jason's son. And it like really took care of the young man, and he was excited. And so now he wants to be a musician. So Jason's buying musical equipment. See how we're part of the larger economy. We're not just service business.
Yeah. It's boosting the entire economy. That was speaking of just last year's huge, that music was epic. That was so cool. The gal that was like the fiddle player,
the fiddle girl,
she was off the hook. And I'm not opposed to a fiddle, but like when I watch music, like I'm looking at the guitar player, right? Like I'm watching that person, and then I'm watching the drummer. Like those are the cool ones to watch. She was crushing that fiddle.
Oh, she was kind of stealing the front part of the stage.
I thought so. Then again, she was like not a bad looking gal, and there were like 5 old dudes up there with her, your brother included. And so I feel like just naturally, like she had that going for her at a convention. That actually, one of the other cool things about the huge is you see more and more and more and more females there, which is super, super cool. And sometimes it's the female with the business and the husband comes along. I think that's super cool. So you got like spouses coming, but you also have more and more female business owners. And so you're like starting to get more diversity into the industry, which is super cool to see. And at something like the Gaylord and bringing live music in, like how are you going to get any better than that? How are you going to beat that?
Yeah.
Like I said, you're screwed. You're screwed, Sid. How are you going to beat that?
We're double screwed. So we keep setting the bar like, okay, now it's high. Now it's really high. Now where do you go from here? And to your point, Hamish Brewer last year is our keynote, like off the hook.
Like cheers. I think I cried 3 different times. And I was an MC. I was like on the side. I had other shit to be worried about. And I was sitting there crying.
Yeah. Yeah. And then I was like, the victory in that was like, wow, because we really want to move people emotionally and have an experience that anchors the whole conference so that they take action. I mean, that's the point, right? Learn it, network, buy your gear, and take action. And so the victory is like, this guy blew everybody away. You couldn't get better. The downside of that is next year, if you couldn't get better than last year, what do you do this year?
What do you do this year?
To bring it home and to keep raising the level. And it's interesting too, because, with you can find great speakers and through a speakers bureau and pay them. Mm-hmm. And in one of our ownership groups, we're like, what if we got somebody like Gary Vaynerchuk? And we're like, yeah, there's probably a big budget. And we're like, just out of curiosity, Jonathan looked him up. That guy's speaker fee for a 1-day event is, drumroll, Jason's son. Give us a drum roll there. I guessed $100,000 for a keynote.
Ooh, that was what I was going to guess.
$250,000, $250,000.
Shit, we're doing the wrong thing, Sid.
All you need is 18 million YouTube followers and a $300 million business that you run on your own that you can use as a platform to speak. And then you're super famous. You're very successful. And people will pay $250,000 to come hang out for a day.
I do need to send my invoice to the huge convention for me being the MC. Free 99 is the going rate. Yeah, free 99. So I'll send that over.
Fun background story. So before we acquired the huge and started running it, when Thad and Chris were running it, well, they had asked me to be the MC one year, and I readily agreed. I love doing that work, and I love the huge convention, so I did it. The next year, they're like, that was awesome. Please be the MC again. I said, great, but you have to pay me this year. And they're like, we don't pay speakers. That's just not what we do. And I'm like, I respect that. I said, but in order for me to stay with honesty that I am a professional MC, you have to pay me. So I sent them an invoice for $1.
You'll be hearing from my admin team.
Yeah, that's the going rate for a huge convention MC, $1. So
it's a labor of love. It's a labor of love. I feel like everybody gets. Maybe somebody gets some value out of us emceeing, but I feel like we get a lot of value. We have a hell of a lot of fun doing it, and we get to meet a whole bunch of people and get a little bit of limelight on stage. That's pretty neat. I just hope everybody else gets enough value out of us, telling dad jokes or telling them where the bathrooms are and what time they can go there, type of thing.
That's true. Well, if they're paying attention, they're getting value.
There you go.
To us. I mean, and if nobody, but it's kind of like being now this is not true. I was going to say, even if they don't get your jokes, as long as you laugh at your own, you're probably doing okay.
Well, I think that's the value of two MCs, because then when you tell a bad joke, I can laugh at it for you. And when I tell a bad joke, you can throw some tomatoes.
Right. We could throw each other back and forth under the bus. Let's go. Give me a second. I've got to plug in a power cord here before I bonk you out.
Don't run out of juice over there. We got a show to do here.
That's right.
So huge convention. You said last year we were at 1,500. Did you say this year you're shooting for 2,000?
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's 500 more people.
That is an additional 500 people. And it really looks pretty good. We're ahead this year in ticket sales, but we're nowhere near that 2,000 mark. But like almost everything, it's like most people buy their tickets to a production like this either at the show the year ahead or about, in literally in the 90 days leading up to the program. The last 30 days is usually the most ticket sales there are.
Yep.
So,
well, and there's like a network effect too. When everybody else is going, you're like, oh my God, I got to go. Which I think that's part of the value of the huge too, is it gets bigger, which adds more value. So I think that's super cool. And the nice thing about the Gaylord is it's so big that I don't know what is the limit of how big of an event can you have there.
That literally that venue, you could probably run an event for 10,000 people.
Well, let's go. Let's do it.
Let's go.
We're on our way.
You brought up the Gaylord. That property is so cool. I remember going there when I used to live in Nashville in like 1991, and I thought that was the most fantastic place because it's like a garden greenhouse that's 5 acres. I mean, it's giant, right?
Massive.
And beautiful. I had a lot of people. I heard a lot of feedback about the Huge last year. Not about the Huge as much as the venue. They're like, the Gaylord's beautiful, but it's really expensive.
It's expensive and it's spread out.
And so you got to plan accordingly. So I want to share a couple of tips for you. If you're like me, I'm frugal. Dan, are you frugal?
I think Mike Dalkey might be a little more frugal than me in some cases. I don't know if he is anymore. He used to be, but I'm the second most frugal person.
So here's a couple of pro tips for saving money at the Gaylord. Number 1, parking. If you drive in or you rent a car and park there, parking's expensive. I don't know what it was because I didn't park. It was like $30 or $50 a day or whatever. But you can park just down the walk path at the mall. There's the I guess it's called the Gaylord. No, it's the Opryland Mall.
We're gonna have to have a trivia question on that one.
Yeah, park there. It's free, and you walk over, and it's a short walk, and there's a pathway that connects those. So it's not even difficult. It's not like you're walking on a street. You're walking on a walking path. That's one. That'll save you $150. Okay.
Oh.
The other is like with the food and stuff. So a couple things. One, we did get some feedback. They're like, we ran the restaurants and blah, 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 but we're on break and we didn't have time. So I believe I can say it with confidence. I think it's locked in, but I know we're working with a hotel on this to have grab and go sandwiches during lunchtime on day 1 for sure. So that you can walk out into the common area and it may be $15 for a sandwich, but you grab it and you can eat it and you're there. You don't have to go get in line, get served, do all the stuff, right? So it's a time saver, even if it's not a money saver. The other thing that I almost always do when I'm at a conference or at an event in a hotel is I'll just hit up Amazon and have them deliver me some food. And it's a thing of yogurt, blueberries, granola, a couple of snack things. And that always, will replace breakfast and maybe my lunch meal for a few bucks instead of dozens of bucks, right?
Yeah.
So that's another big savings. Then I spend money going out for dinner.
My fridge is always full of beer. My fridge is always full of beer is my problem. I don't have room for the snacks.
Yeah. Well, you can, if that's your deal, Amazon will deliver that too. From
I Instacarted, I think 10 cases of beer last year.
Oh yeah.
And then I realized it's hard hauling cases of beer around the hotel I had to enlist some help. I got a little rolly cart and I got some help hauling.
Did you take that down to your booth for Blue Skies or was that in your room?
Yeah, I did, as long as I didn't get in trouble for it. And I didn't. But we had the raffle. We ended up doing the raffle at our booth last year. And I was like, well, people are going to be parched waiting to see if they won something.
That's right.
If you and we had if you recall, this wasn't my idea. It It was just my ugly mug that got stuck on a tattoo. And so there were Platta tattoos going around.
Mm-hmm.
And if you were wearing a Platta tattoo, you got yourself a free beer.
Yeah.
And people got really creative with where they put their Platta tattoos.
I saw them on people's necks. I saw them like very creative. Did anybody put one on their face? Because those tattoos ended up lasting like 8 days.
Yeah. I got some complaints about the longevity, and I was like, man, I'm just a sticky son of a gun. What can I say? I saw some in other inappropriate places, but the neck ones were the funniest. And Michelle Myers threw one on her neck, and then the next day she got upgraded to first class on her plane ride, and she was like, it had to be the Platta tattoo.
It's got to be.
What else would cause you to get upgraded besides like, this lady's crazy? She's got a freaking tattoo of a dude on her neck.
On her neck.
Yeah. So we might be bringing those back. We might be bringing the Platta tats back.
I do have to say there have been two things that I've seen vendors do over the years that I thought were the biggest score for auxiliary marketing, whether it was intended this way or not. And that was the Blue Skies, the Platta tattoo, because it caught attention. If you had Michelle, you had on your neck, and a lot of people know her, and you're like, what is that? What is that? What is it? Dan, go see Blue Skies. That was awesome. And they lasted a long time.
Almost too long.
Yeah, they were. They almost defied the term temporary tattoo.
Yeah.
You go.
It was up there with like if you got Sharpie on you, you'd be like, it's gonna be there for a minute.
And if you did it here, you can't scrub that off because that's too sensitive.
It's too sensitive. Yeah, then you'd look like you had a huge hickey.
We had a few years ago, Jill's office. We've used Jill's office for years, and they called me one year and they're like, hey, you're going to be at the convention? I was like, yeah. They said, make sure and stop by the booth and see us. And I was like, cool, of course I will. Well, I stopped by the booth to see them, and they're like, Sid. And they like rummaged through a bin. They had this bin of framed 8x10s, and it was a staff picture that they had taken, and they framed it and matted it, but everyone in the photo signed it.
That's super cool.
And then they handed it to me. And then they're like, thanks so much. And I was like, oh, that's cool. Well, then I was walking through the trade show, walking along, and I know a lot of people, or they know me, and I'm holding this, and I'd stop and talk, and they're like, what is that? And I'm like, oh, you got to go see Jill's office. These guys are the best. Like, they did this for me. And it wasn't like, the cool thing about that, or like the tattoo, like it wasn't an expensive item.
Yeah.
But it took thought and time to prepare it. So it made it special. It still hangs in our office today.
It's a beautiful thing.
Along with a note that says, we are Jillionaires.
Ooh, nice. I like the way that sounds.
There's a lot of them.
I liked last year Jill's office did the t-shirts too. So
yeah.
You had one of their shirts and I had one of their shirts that was like, Dan does this because he uses Jill's office. Mine was, I drink more beer than Chuck Norris.
Yep.
What was yours? What was your
Sid uses Jill's office so he has more time to bench press bulls.
Yeah.
Mike,
how many bulls are you bench pressing these days?
Enough. There's a lot around here.
All of them.
Yeah. I didn't do all of them, but I did a lot.
A lot of them.
Yeah.
Like bull elk.
Bull elk.
You got a lot of different kinds of bulls too.
That's true.
Any kind of bull.
That is true. I mean, I am definitely in the wilderness out here.
So what was your favorite part of the Huge last year? Was it the MCs? Maybe was it was it Hamish? Was it an obscure thing that just a select group of people saw? What was your favorite?
Yeah. Well, I mean, without fishing for compliments, Dan, I would say the MCs were pretty amazing. They were great. Yeah. So there were several things that really layered on top of each other. I will have to say Hamish's keynote was such a huge leap in the quality that we delivered that I was delighted by that. The check-in system, for getting registered went a lot better last year than it did the prior year. The first year we took it on, it'll be way better this year. But the other thing that was really, really good, and wasn't customer facing, but like when we took on the Huge convention, there were 7 of us, and part of the agreement was everybody's got to work. Like we ran the whole thing ourselves, which is a really interesting entrepreneurial thing to do, because as entrepreneurs, most of us are do-it-yourselfers to a degree, but none of us had run an event before.
Yeah,
they were like, we could do that. There is so much work behind the scenes to make it run seamlessly. It's unbelievable. Whether even if you just took vendor sales by itself, like that's a huge thing to do. Like you got to contact everybody, you got to communicate. People need to know what's your vendor number, where's your space, what's your booth, how much, what did you get with that, how do you get in, when can I get in, where do you park? All like that's a full-time job by itself. But then you got ticket sales and all the things that go with wrangling everyone that bought a ticket and like, did I get one? Did I get two? I didn't get an email. Where's your thing? What, like that was a lot of work. And then getting it registered in a timely fashion. Wrangling the first year I wrangled all the speakers and we had like 35 speakers between keynotes and breakouts. And you got to make sure everybody knows what room are you in, what time is your slot, what can you do, what can you not do, how long can you go, what happens if you go over time, when do you get like hit with a 2x4, all the things. Then, but last year, well, the first year we did all of it. The next year, we had Jonathan was in charge of all that and had delegated a lot of it. So I got to focus on being MC with you, and then just networking with people. So that was a big win for me personally. It's like I had a responsibility that I love, that I'm good at, that I got to focus on instead of trying to do everything.
Yeah, it is. It's like mind-blowing how much stuff there is and how many little, like the little details. There's so many little details, but like all of them need to be addressed because if they aren't, like something eventually gets disorganized or slips through the cracks. So yeah, I don't envy that job at all of trying to keep track of all that stuff. Hamish was a super highlight, right? Like because nobody knew who he was, right? And so it's like, it would have been one thing if it was Gary V and you would expect an amazing keynote. But I think when it's, hey, yeah, the school principal is going to be the keynote, and you're like, huh, like that's kind of a weird choice, but okay, like let's see what he does. And then so you come in, and I think those are like my favorite situations when you come in with like a mediocre expectation. And you were able, like we talked about him on the show last year. Like we hyped him up a little bit, and then you could go to his website and you could see some of the stuff he had done and watch a little video of him. And so it was like, this is, he's a cool principal. This will be exciting. But then to like be in the room with him and like going up and down the roller coaster of the impact that he's had on kids' lives, it was just like, I just don't know. It'd be one for the ages.
Yeah. Hard act to follow. I didn't envy anyone that spoke after he did last year. Like even Kenny, the Black Hawk Down.
Yeah.
He's good. He was cool. He had a great message, but he was overshadowed by Hamish's raw power and energy.
It would have been interesting, which it was funny because he was a Navy SEAL, right? Or was he an Army Ranger?
He's an Army Ranger. He's a Ranger.
Yep. Yeah. And if I just said, hey, I'm gonna have a school principal talk and then I'm gonna have an Army Ranger talk, you'd be like, school principal will probably be like mellow, delivering like really consistent points, right? Yeah. Like a PowerPoint style presentation. And the Army Ranger is probably gonna be you rah, pumping everybody up, hyping everybody up. And it was the exact opposite. Like Kenny's wasn't bullet pointed, right? It was a good story and had some good impact to it. But he was so calm with how he delivered it, which Black Hawk Down, there couldn't have been anything too calm about it, but he had a very like calm way of presenting the chaos that it was. And you could have easily seen that being like, and then there was this, and then he was going over there, and then this guy got trapped, right? Like you can envision an intense presentation in that. But it was the exact opposite. He was very like calm and methodical as he went through it and delivered a great message. And Hamish was just yelling and screaming, and then he'd tone it down, and then he'd rile everybody back up. It was like a hilarious 1-2 punch.
Yeah. A fun fact. This could be a good trivia. This will be a trivia question later. Which speaker at the huge convention of all time flew his own private plane to the event to speak?
Ooh. Like did he take a private plane or did he fly his own? Like he was the pilot of it.
He's the pilot. He owns the plane and he piloted it himself.
Huh.
I'll give you a hint.
Hit me.
It was an airplane. Oh, you already knew that.
That was the worst hint. That was the worst hint. Oh, yeah. I was thinking like when you said plane, like a flat surface is where my mind was going. Like, they're all pretty flat surfaces.
Yeah.
Who was it? I don't know the dude's name, but there was the one dude that like rode the Segway around when he spoke and he was talking about technology.
Yeah.
That was back in New Orleans. Was that New Orleans?
I believe that was New Orleans.
Yeah. So my mind kind of goes to him because he was
that guy?
a logical dude, but I don't remember his name.
Well, we'll reveal the answer, and it would be Kenny Thomas, the Black Hawk Down. He flew in.
He flew his own plane in.
Yeah, he flew it in that morning. He's from Ohio. It wasn't probably a long flight, maybe 350 miles. And then, he stayed and he had lunch, private lunch with 40, 50 people. He signed books for a while and he hung out, and he was like the most gracious dude. And I happened to run into him. He actually left his phone in the room for lunch. And so I got it.
He's probably listening to all of us.
I know it's a private, he's tracking us now.
Yeah.
He planted it. Now, I was looking for him, and I had the 3 guys from my team in Missoula that came with me. And then I saw him coming up the hall. I'm like, Kenny, got your phone. And I introduced him to the guys because the guys were all thrilled. They wanted to meet him. And he's like, yeah. And he stopped, and he took pictures, and he started telling them stories, and they talked for a minute. And then he was like, oh, yeah, I got to go. I got to be at the airport in a minute. It was like, what planes, what airline are you flying? He's like, I flew my own plane. I'm like, no, you flew your own plane? Okay. Yeah, that's cool. He's like, yeah. And he told us what we had. I don't know airplanes, so it didn't make sense to me.
Yeah, you just nod your head like, sweet.
Yeah, that's cool.
That's cool that you have a plane and you know what it's called. I did when I worked at Cargill in the corporate world. We had a office in Wichita that was like the head of our protein division, and then I was at our main office up in Minneapolis. But Cargill, 150,000 employees and whatever else, however many billions in revenue, they had private jets to go. Like when there was dedicated routes like that, rather than flying commercial, there was always people that had to go back and forth. So we had a private jet that could hold like 10 people, and it was always funny when you had to fly that because you had to change your thought process on when do I need to wake up and when do I need to get to the airport. It's like you didn't have to wait. You would just like get there. You did have to go through like a metal scanner deal, right? But it was like if it was wheels up at 6:30, be to the airport by 6:15. It's just like you'd be like, I gotta fly out in the morning. You'd be like, oh yeah, I just gotta wake up at the normal time because I literally just like get through, high five the pilot, grab a cup of coffee, and get on the damn plane, and we're off.
That's cool.
Like that's the life. That's the life. Someday we'll have a huge convention plane, Sid.
Okay. You just raised the bar again, Dan. Thank you very much. Have we had the chance to say hello to everybody that's joining us, that's chatting in?
No, let's do that. Doug Brown checking in. What's up, Doug? I still owe Doug a follow up on bookkeeping stuff. I'm gonna get you, Doug. I'm gonna get you. Mike Hodak checking in, says, "What's up, all?" I was gonna say y'all, but he didn't say y'all. He just said, "What's up, all?"
If you're from the South, truly, you say all y'all.
All y'all. What's up?
How all y'all doing?
All y'all. Jason Hefner, of course, checking in.
Of course, my man, Jason.
He already has his tickets. He's got lined up. He did check in about the water park is no joke. Somebody said, "Are you talking about me?" And that was when I was talking about the female attendance was good last year. That was T Gianni. I gotta follow up with T too. Holy moly! I got all kinds of people I gotta follow up with.
This is good. Do you have a personal assistant that can just watch this and then do all the follow up for you?
I will. I'm working with Melody from Home Service VA, but
nice.
But I'm like, somebody needs to follow up with them on my behalf because I owe them a bunch of videos and information and stuff. Is Melody is Home Service VA going to be there as a vendor? Are they signed up?
I don't know. Most likely
they should be. Nikki Williams checking in. What's up, Nikki? David Holden in the house. What's up, David? Who else we got? I think that was it. Jason did chime in and said the water park is no joke.
No joke. And then down, we got a new one at the bottom.
Rebecca's in the house. What's up, Rebecca Toledo?
There's another hi, y'all.
She said hi, y'all. There we go. Now we got the y'all.
Yeah. What do you want to talk some nuts and bolts about the huge convention this year?
Yeah,
so we can give it to everybody.
What's the game plan, Sid? What do you got? What do you got in the works for us?
Number one, like if you want to know the details and you're a detail person, you go to thehugeconvention.com so you can check it out. And it's got like this year, I mean, the website's up to date and you can see who's the speakers, what's the schedule, and what's going on. One of the, like, I can't say that this is undervalued. It's just the day before the huge convention starts. So you can see on the banner behind me, it says August 23rd through 25th. That's 3 days. Now the convention is technically 2 days. It's the 24th and 25th. That's main stage, keynote, vendors, trade show, the whole deal. But the 23rd, the day before, that's when we've got private classes the day ahead of time. And the fine folks at Spray Wash Academy, Dougie Dew and Ray Burke, have always been strong presence at the huge convention, and they teach an all-day class day ahead of time, like plant and property protection and safety and all that kind of good stuff. And they bring so much value and so much wisdom to the industry. And both of them have been through a lot as business owners, a lot of ups, a lot of downs. And so they bring that experience and teach it in a way that's like easy to comprehend. And you go through it in a day and you're like, holy cow, this is going to pay off big. And it's an inexpensive course. I don't know how much it is, but it is extra on top of your ticket, but well worth it if you're in the power wash industry.
For a full day.
Full day of training. Even I don't know what it is. Let's pretend it's $500. That's a giveaway.
Yeah, worth it. That's crazy.
Yeah. You learn stuff in it. Like if you pay attention in a dedicated course like that, it'll pay you back in a week.
Oh, in a day.
Yeah.
One job not screwed up.
Oh gosh.
Right.
Yeah.
One job not like one landscaping plant, not like one freaking plant. If you burn it, could cost you $500.
$500, right?
Like, yeah, it's like that's a no brainer.
Well, it's funny too because people go, "I've got insurance, so I don't have to pay for that." And not true. It's cheaper to pay the $500.
Way more expensive if you have to use it.
Don't file a claim. You'll jack your rates, right?
Yeah, like insurance claim. I feel like we used to have a rule that if it was under 10 grand, we wouldn't file a claim.
Oh wow,
because it gets you right. It's like you pay for it.
Yeah,
it gets paid for. The claims are there for when you can't afford it, but if you could afford it, we would try to handle it out of pocket.
Yeah, try to settle it and write a check.
Which sucks for your P&L that month. Is a guy that watches the P&L pretty hard, but our insurance company hasn't dropped us.
Yeah,
we've burned some plants.
Okay. So there are 2 other day ahead classes. Howard Partridge has done he's been a kind of a partner with the Huge for a long time, many years.
Yeah. The man with the whitest teeth on the planet.
Oh yeah. And he's, they do the, it's basically the 5 keys to having an automated business. And it's a powerful one day. That thing will pay for your huge convention for the next 10 years. If you do that, it's more than basic blocking and tackling in business. But it covers the bases in a way where you go, oh, here's a hole in my business. It's my sales department. I need to fix that. And then learn how to fix it. Cool thing about Howard, it was last year or the year before. And I'm sorry, I conflate these, but he got sick. He had COVID and he ended up getting pneumonia and he was sick and he couldn't come personally. But he just had his man Santiago just stepped in and ran the whole thing without him, speaking from the main stage and running the class. It was like not a big deal. I was like, that's a testament to, he teaches you about leadership and depth. Mm-hmm. And then he had a situation where he couldn't be there and he had leadership and depth to just stepped in and didn't miss a beat. We missed Howard, but content,
but the value was there.
We didn't miss him. Yeah.
Yep. Yeah. That's a really good point. We got to interview Howard on this show last year. And so it was super exciting to get to talk to him and just talk to him, right? Like most of the time when you get exposure to somebody like Howard, they might be teaching you and it's probably expensive to be taught by that person because they've got shitloads of value that they can add, but it was super cool to just talk to him on the show and just be able to bounce stuff around with them. So I was really looking forward to seeing him there after getting exposure to him just from doing this back and forth. But you're right. It's like missed Howard, but didn't miss a beat.
Yeah.
Which is a huge testament. Fleet Wash Academy is Fleet Wash Academy doing
I was actually scrolling to look for the other Fleet Wash Academy is running a class a day ahead of time. And then also John Tornabini is running a parking garage cleaning class a day ahead of time.
Nice.
Yeah, so
whether you're cleaning trucks, whether you're cleaning parking garages, whether you're cleaning houses, the outside of which, or whether you're cleaning up your business, you kind of got a pre-day. You got a pre-day. I think Sean might actually speak at the Fleet Wash event. We're talking talking to Delkey about talking some Cruton.
Yep.
Jamie Schmidt checking in, says can't wait.
It is going to be awesome.
It's going to be awesome. What's up, Jamie Schmidt?
Can I share my screen?
I think so. Give it a try.
I'm going to hit the button and see what happens.
Yeah, give it a try.
Let's see if we get this to pop up. Do you see the screen?
Sure, yeah. Look at I can add it. Yeah. Look at
that. Just this is the kind of guy I am. I just want to show you right here. There he is.
Oh baby. I should probably
take
a picture someday. That picture's been in circulation for a while, but it's the best one I got.
I think you were 20.
The funny thing is, no, that would have been, I was in my 30s because that's cropped. In that picture, I was also holding one of my children, I think. But
we just cropped out.
We just cropped out Danny. I'm pretty sure we cropped out Danny. It's just me in it. But it was like, it's the one picture of me where I'm not being a jackass. Usually I'm being a jackass. So,
I've heard things like that.
I'm good at that. My parents always said, like, do what you're good at, and goofing around and acting smart is what I'm good at. So that's what I do.
Good. We just get paid for that. We're doing all right.
Well, I do it for free.
Okay. Yeah. Well, I'm scrolling through everybody, but so these are the breakout speakers. I wanted to scroll up and get to topping and check out Michael Bernoff and Kyle Shield. These are our keynotes for this year. Oh, you've got them all the way up. So Michael spoke on day 2 last year, and it was interesting because Michael was like, this dude is on point. Okay, were you there? You were in the room.
Yeah, I was sitting up in the front. I was afraid to like volunteer for any of his questions. I was like, man, I feel like I'm a fail.
I know. You almost feel like he's like the stage hypnotist.
Yeah, I'm like he's about to read my mind and tell me about all my problems that I'm trying not to address. He
was so good and so adept at reframing the way people think about things that I was stumped. And one tiny simple example, he's talking about sales, and he says, here's what happens. What happens when you go to place and you give them the presentation, you're like, okay, we're going to power wash your roof. We're going to do this. You're going to hang your Christmas lights. It's going to be, $4,000. And the customer says, ooh, that's expensive. What do most people do? Like, well, maybe we could do it for 35, or, they backpedal, or they get defensive and they go, what do you mean that's expensive? Like, I work really hard at this. And he just, like, the most subtle reframe, he said, I'm going to tell you what to say. So somebody comes, you give them the price and they go, ooh, that's expensive. And you go, actually, that's the going rate. What it is unexpected. If you had done all the homework ahead of time to understand what goes into a job like this, you would have realized that this is the going rate. But thankfully, you've got an expert like me here to show you everything that you need to know so you can make an informed decision. So it's not expensive. It's just unexpected. But now I'm going to answer your questions. I was like, it was such a deliberate and thoughtful way to pivot the conversation and take the emotion of that's expensive and getting defensive about it out of the equation. Well, he's going to keynote, so he's got the whole time. So be prepared to take notes, get the recording, because thankfully I have access to the recordings from last year. I went back and listened to his presentation twice.
Yeah, like the amount of value and just like the frame, the different, like you said, how he frames things in the different frameworks you can use. You need a whole notebook. Like don't bring a page. Have a whole damn notebook, because you're going to be constant. You're going to have to write it down, and you're going to have to revisit it to remember all the bombs that he drops. He's got so much stuff.
Oh yeah, and you really can't write fast enough, especially if you're one of the volunteers that jumps into it. Hey, before I go on, I want to tell you about Kyle Shield, but before that, Doug Brown asked, "Is this geared just for power washing?" And we were talking about Spray Wash Academy and things. So the day ahead class for Spray Wash Academy, yes, just power washing. The fleet washing class, yes, just power washing. The huge convention, not at all. We're represented by window cleaners, power washers, garage floor coatings, Christmas lights, house cleaners, landscaping. There's a lot of industries that are already part of the huge. The focus is geared toward building your home service business and making it better and more profitable. That's the crux of the entire convention, from the trade show to the networking to the speakers that we have, both main stage and keynote. We want to help you build a better, more profitable business probably in less time. Let's just go all the way.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So Doug, I hope that answers your question. That answers two sides of the same question.
yeah.
So let me dip into Kyle, because Kyle's going to be like Hamish, like in the sense that we would go, who is he? What does he do? Oh, he's a songwriter. Oh, is that it? So why is he speaking at a conference like this as a songwriter? He's the songwriter. He wrote the song. If I hope I get this right, he's the guy that wrote the song "Live Like You Were Dying." That was
little Tim McGraw.
Tim McGraw.
Yeah.
Tim McGraw. So but his topic, I'm scrolling it up here so you can see it, becoming an idea factory, how to turn yourself and your organization into an innovation machine. So the songwriter industry as an industry is really fascinating because you got to be creative and you have to be a business person and you have to be connected in order to step into into the jet stream in the music industry.
Yeah.
So it's not like, and I'm going to stop the share here. It's not like you go, hey, I'm going to write a song and then you like mail it off to like send your demo tape to, to Tim McGraw and, Luke Combs or anybody. And they're like, oh, this is pretty good. I think we're going to pay you $1 million and do your song. Not how it works. Not how it works. You got like the creativity aspect. Like you got to come up with a hook. You got to come up with something that's catchy, that's like, and that just takes work. Sometimes people have an idea in the shower and I was like, oh, ooh, and then they hum it and they write it down, they play it on the guitar and record it, and like, oh, that's good. And that becomes a song. It's never the first draft that becomes a song. But I'm excited to hear it.
I wrote one song once. I don't remember it though. But I wrote the lyrics to it when I was in college.
Was it the Happy Birthday song?
No, it would have been a country song. It would have been a country song. But I didn't stick to it. I do have a drum set still though. Got the drum set in the basement. The kids beat the hell out of it.
I bet. You have here fun story. Last year we thought we might, meaning you and I as MC on day 2, maybe we'll pretend to be Wayne's World, Garth and Wayne.
We still could. We still might.
Yeah, it could happen. We have the headgear for it. But I called Brother Dave. I'm like, hey, I need a set of drumsticks. Any way you can bring him up? And he's like, yeah, I'll bring him up. And he's a musician. And he's got all kinds of stuff. And he brings me a set of drumsticks. And he says, make sure and give these back to me. These, the drummer from Journey gave me this. And I was like,
why did you bring those? Don't you have a set of drumsticks that isn't amazing?
Yeah, no, bring me something that's not worth a lot because I don't want to lose this.
Yeah. Why would when I said bring me some drumsticks, why did you think I'm going to bring you the sweetest set of drumsticks I have? Like, I'm your brother. You should have brought me the junkiest, chipped up, no good set of drumsticks you got.
Yeah, just bring me a set of chopsticks you had from yesterday's Chinese food.
Yeah, Sid, this is what we use. This is how we do it.
Go
ahead, Sid.
No, nothing. It was just going to be another silly story because that's what I do.
Yeah, give me another one. I love silly.
Okay, another silly story. If I would have said to Brother Dave, I'm like, hey, do you have a guitar we can use? Like something that's junky or whatever? He would have brought us like a $5,000 Les Paul, limited edition thing and gone, here, just use this. Be careful with it. It's kind of nice.
It's signed by, what's the lead singer's name of Rascal Flatts? What's that guy's name? I don't know.
Dude.
But it's signed by that guy. You'd be like, oh, again, something that I don't even want to touch. Like,
it was signed by Wayne.
Yeah, this was actually signed by Wayne and Garth. So this would be a good one for you. So I know I can't join you today. I got family stuff going on today, but I know you've got 2 other. You got a full ass day today, Sid. Yeah. You got Jim Dubois coming on at some point today, and then Paul. I'll get his last name wrong. Cassandra. Yeah, that's pretty damn close. Look at me.
You were right on. So Paul Cassandra's got the Power Wash store, and of course he's one of my favorite vendors in the sense that the first year we did a huge convention, he got the mechanical bull next to his booth, and I was like, this guy knows what's up. Yeah, this is all right. Yeah, and then so we're doing that at 4:00 Mountain, 6:00 Eastern, and then 5:00 Mountain, 7:00 Eastern. Jim Dubois from Squeegee Pros is going to join us, and he's the one that he's one of the first guys to publish. I don't want to call it information marketing. That's really not the term, but he has Window Washing Wealth. He's got a program for building a 7-figure window cleaning business that is automated.
Yeah, I have the fortune of coaching with Jim. We have a business partner together. And so we jump on every week with our business partner to, like, we bought a business that had a lot of broken things. So we're like helping them reorganize it. And it's been so cool to watch Jim. Like the dude, like I want to say he's a technician, which makes it sound like he's a window cleaner, but he's so good at diagnosing the problem, respectfully addressing it, like just the way he breaks stuff down. He makes the complex like so simple and how to attack it, and then just watching the results of like what he's bringing to the table. It's so fun working with Jim on like I get more value out of it than our business partner does, I think. Like the whole time I'm just sitting there like just learning from Jim. He's freaking brilliant, and he's got so much experience. It's awesome. He's not the window wizard, you know. He's no window wizard, Sid.
Right.
But damn near. He's damn near the window wizard.
He's not, and he was in a Bon Jovi music video. You gotta throw that in.
In some really short shorts, if I recall.
I haven't seen the video, or if I did,
he's wearing some like short cutoff shorts that nowadays you probably get thrown in jail for wearing something like that.
That's right. You know, you got to stay away from the school. Lev popped in. Can't wait to see the huge. What's up, Lev? I am glad to see you here, my friend.
Lev is in the house. Somebody said, "Sup, Danny boy." I'm scrolling through Facebook pages to see who it was. It was Trevor William Steele. Trevor Steele in the house. Trevor, we're gonna see you at the huge there, Trevor. You coming to the huge? Huh?
Trevor, you need to be there.
So this year we got the 2 keynotes, one each day. I'm guessing one each day. I saw Nice Job. Nice Job is what's it called? They're the
show sponsor.
Show sponsor. I didn't have my terminology ready to go, but I saw they were the lead sponsors. What I was going to say, I just don't know. I don't know the words. Sid, I don't know how to use words.
You get good words.
But no, that'd be super cool. Are they going to jump up on stage too and teach us how to get some reviews?
They're guaranteed. They're going to teach it somewhere. They'll probably have a moment on the main stage. I'm not sure about that. So back in the day, I was in charge of main stage. I'm not anymore. So like we were talking about earlier.
Not your problem. Not your problem no more.
Like somebody else is driving that. I'm like, all right, good. I just want to say, I think it would be a good fit. We talked about getting the private jet for the huge convention. We're probably going to have to collaborate with Lev on that.
Oh yeah. Lev could hook us up. I bet Lev's got a jet.
Hook it up. He might not have one yet, but he's on the way.
Yeah.
Get the jet. So Lev, if you're watching, I'm going to show this. This is really nothing to do with the huge convention, but you can't see. Never mind. My background's going to block it. I had a beautiful before and after photo of a garage floor coating for you to see, Lev. We just did another one today, and it went well.
He would have loved it. Oh, Lev says he's going to make it happen. He'd get us that jet. We're on it.
Cool.
I got Sid. One thing that I failed at last year. So I was like, okay, we chatted, probably about this time last year. And I was like, hey, we'd love to MC with you and do that. And so we talked about that. And I totally forgot to like sign up for a speaking spot for me last year. And I remember reaching out to Jonathan and I was like, hey, I don't see my name on the list of speakers. And he's like, well, you're MCing. And I was like, yeah, but I was going to like speak on some bookkeeping or, finance stuff too. And he's like, well, that's cool, except you didn't fill out a speaker form. I was like, it totally makes sense that I wouldn't be signed up to be a speaker if I did not fill out a speaker form. So this year we filled out a speaker form. And,
did you get one?
And
you did. I showed you a picture. Duh.
I get to talk. So I'm gonna have to like do like a wardrobe change or something. I don't know. Like I'm gonna go from MC and then I gotta get in the phone booth.
Yeah, just walk through the phone booth.
Yeah, and then get into speaker mode. So I'm speaking. Do you know what I'm speaking on? Do we talk about what I'm speaking on?
Yeah. Why don't you hit us with it?
I'm talking about the purgatories of scaling your business. Because everybody wants to talk about like the levels. Like I'm level 1 or 2 or 3 or 4. Whether there's like a numerical thing about when we hit a certain level. Here's like the things that looks like, but we rarely talk about the shitty stuff in between to get to that level.
Yeah.
And all the problems you face and why you face them and how you fix them. And we've all been there where there's these like super weird sticking points and they're scary and they suck and you're making less money and you have more problems and they keep happening. And there's triggers that cause them to happen. In different industries, there's like different revenue amounts, but like usually in exterior cleaning or in a lot of home service spaces, there's usually like a sticking point around a couple $100,000. There's another one as you get a little over 500,000. There's another one right around $1 million. Mm-hmm. And so I'm going to walk through those first 3 purgatories.
What if you called it You could subtitle your presentation, "How to Grow Through the Suck."
How to grow through the suck. In
Yeah.
fact, I may have already done that. A previous Platta may have already done that. The Purgatories of Scaling, how to grow through the suck.
Okay.
Yeah.
Can you click the screen
Oh
share,
yeah,
like
yeah.
the
There's
screen in?
oh yeah, you were trying to lead me into something and I'm too stupid to take it.
You
There it is.
get it.
Purgatories of Scaling.
Mr. Big Dan Platta. We gotta give you need a moniker like Big Dan the Money Man and the Purgatories.
I thought I was Billy Joe Bobby Joe Biddy Coins.
Bitcoin.
Yeah.
Bitmeister.
Doug says he's in the suck. He also said cracking a cold beer while you're up there speaking. I didn't. There's one other stage that I didn't crack a beer on the huge stage last year, but we faked it.
Yeah.
And then at Debbie Sardone's CBF Live event, I also did not crack a beer. Although I think everybody was like, why isn't he drinking a beer? What a weirdo. Like it's so assumed that I'm going to have a beer whenever I'm doing anything.
Hey, personal branding works.
Jamie Schmidt says, my question is, will there be Dan Platta tattoos there again this year? I don't know. I had nothing to do with them last year. I'm leaving it to my admin team. If they want to embarrass me with some tattoos again, I did give them the feedback that I didn't think the cartoon of me looked enough like me. I think it looked like a tall, dark, handsome feller. And I was like, I'm definitely not a tall, dark, handsome feller. And so I did say, I think we should get a new caricature of me made that's a little more slapsticky and stupid looking. Then I feel like it'd be a better fit for me. That the other guy like looked cool. And so it didn't feel like it was me. But so we'll see where we might have some tattoos. Hopefully they're less longevity-ish, less sticky. But hey, at least everybody kind of learned their lesson.
Temporary means it doesn't last a lifetime.
Yeah, everything's pretty temporary. They came off. But I'm excited for that talk. I've given the purgatory talk a few times, which is good because it sucks giving a talk the first time. Like it's kind of challenging because it's you get tripped up and you don't have the transitions and the timing and all that worked out. But I've given the purgatory talk enough times now, in like smaller little group settings. I'm excited to unleash it on the huge with a little bit bigger audience. And it's always fun giving that because you get so many, like when you're speaking and you're telling people what's happening, like Doug, who says he's in the suck. And when Doug's in that room and you're telling them like why this is happening and what's causing it, and you just see people like nodding their heads and then they throw their hands up like, oh my God, why didn't somebody tell me this thing before? And then you get that, and then you start giving them the tools to get through it. And here's what to focus on, and here's how to do this, and here's why is this happening and how to fix it. I just love giving that presentation. It's the one I get the most feedback from the audience, like as I go. And that's like when you're a speaker, you need that. Like you feed off that. If everybody's just sitting there looking at you, it's really weird. But
it makes you feel like you're doing something wrong.
Yeah, if you can get the engagement going and you get the head nodding and the woohooing and the clapping and the cheering, it's like, oh yeah, we're going, we're doing this thing. So yeah, I'm pumped to have remembered to submit the speaker form this year so that I also get to have a speaking gig.
Yeah. And it's good that you did. We've had several people reach out to us like as much as a month ago. They're like, hey, I'd love to speak at the huge. And Johnson's like, they're all full. Like all of the speaker positions or openings were filled months ago. Mm-hmm. And also, so there's one change from last year to this year for the huge. Last year, I think we had close to 40 or 45 breakout sessions. So we had 3 of them going over 2 days. And it was a lot. Well, we've condensed that. There's still a ton. There's still more than you can possibly go to. That's why you get the recordings. But there's like 24 this year. Mm-hmm. But you talk about like, we didn't try to make it hard for someone to get on a stage. We just made sure that everyone that's speaking, like, because we're leveling up the huge convention, like with the Hamish and the Kennys of this world and Michael Burnoff and our singer-songwriter, like we want to level up everything. So we like almost every person that said, hey, I want to speak, like we either had to know personally and have seen them that they can manage an audience and carry them, or they just submit a video so we could know. They get like, we didn't want someone to, even if they have good content, to kind of fail in front of a few hundred people.
Yeah.
We want everybody to succeed, and we want everybody that's in that room to get the value and walk away going, God, that was awesome. Like, now I know how to get out of the suck, and not walk away going, cool guy, but like he sweats so much. Like the puddle on stage for the next guy's gonna be terrible.
Guy's gonna slip like it's a banana peel up there. Jeez Louise. I did that. Actually, that was part of the intent of why I wanted to do the purgatory talk, is like, I've got some other talks, but they're not like refined. And so it's got to be something that you can deliver confidently, succinctly, and like get the most engagement out of, because everybody kind of benefits. Like, if you're just up there going through slides and boring people to death, doesn't matter if you have the best thing in the world on your slides. And I mean, same when we do like a podcast, right? It's like, you can have the best content, but if it's not exciting and engaging and you can't deliver it well, it's kind of useless. Nobody's going to listen to it because it's boring and they're going to fall asleep and turn on something else. So I'm excited to do the purgatory talk. Crush it.
Cool. Well, hey, I realize I don't know what your time frame.
Yeah, we do need to get off. We're going to get kicked off of the radio here in like 10 minutes because the next show jumps on.
Let me do a quick roundup of the huge and the itinerary. So on the 22nd, like, I'm going to back up a step. On the 22nd, that's not on the screen here, wherever that is.
Yeah, this is like you're like pulling the curtains back a little bit here.
Yeah, this is a little insider baseball. So you need to know that the 22nd, we're hosting the AMP Mastermind, and we will have an AMP Mastermind Visitors Day on the 22nd. I can't tell you anything more about it. Like, you just wait for an announcement to come out. It is definitely not for everyone, but for the right people that want to amplify their business and really pour the fuel on it and grow it, and have like a curated group of high performing business owners as your informal board of advisors. The AMP Mastermind is probably for you. Okay. Mm-hmm. So that's all I'll say. Then on the 23rd is the official start time. That's the day ahead classes. That's your Spray Wash Academy, your Fleet Wash, your Howard Partridge and John Tornabini. Then on the 24th, that's main stage. We kick off main stage. Our keynote speaker, Michael Burnoff, is going to literally melt and change the way you think, not only about business, but about processes. And not a technical guy. He's a neurolinguistic programming and like emotional and state changing person. It will help you change the way it's like with your computer, you have apps, you have software, you have stuff, you get web browser, you get all these pages, but not everybody thinks about the operating system. Like, what's the system running all your other systems? Well, it's your personal operating system, like how you take in information, how you translate it, and how you talk to yourself, and how you show up in the world. He is capable of helping you shift that to a higher level. That's what I'll say about Michael Burnoff. So we've got the right after he speaks, the trade show is going to open. It's the world's largest trade show for our associated industries. And during that time, the breakout sessions are going to happen. So you got your speakers. On Thursday night, the 24th, we've got the huge rock show with Brother Dave and the crew. Be a lot of the same guys that run the band last year. So we're going to bring entertainment in-house, so you don't have to like try to hustle down to Broadway and do that and then get back and be, awake enough on Friday morning. Like, do that Friday night. But Thursday, we got your entertainment covered.
We're doing that again, huh? We're doing that.
Yeah, we're doing it again. And they're excited. And these guys, like, when you deal with professionals, you're always amazed, right?
Yeah.
It's like, oh my gosh, these guys are like magicians.
Yeah.
Friday, keynote again. And one change it doesn't change the whole event of the huge convention, but it's a significant change. What we've always done in the past is when we do the giveaways, the vendor giveaways, and there's not like they're giving away a skid, they're giving away a $10,000 this, they're giving away 500 of that, free webs, all the stuff. We always did that at raffle style in the trade show floor, and it was absolute utter chaos. Now that can be fun, but there were probably people that won that couldn't hear it, and they didn't claim it and went somebody else. It's all kind of confusion. We've eliminated that. We're going to do the raffle and prize giveaway from the main stage.
Oh, sweet. So we get to do it.
Yeah. And people, you have to be in the room. So what this will do in one way is, like, a lot of people missed the keynotes on Friday morning last year because they were like, I'm going straight to trade show. Or They just want to be somewhere else. And so it didn't give credit to our speaker. And also people lost a lot of value by not being there. So this year is like, if you want to win the raffle thing, and I'm not going to announce it here. We're going to announce it as we go, but we have giveaways this year that will melt your face. I mean, just like not a hot water power washer, not that kind of.
Yeah, we're not. Yeah, not actually, but like, maybe. But
let's. In the past, if we've given away $15,000 worth of value of giveaways, just add a 0 to that.
That's gonna be epic.
We're giving away. There's definitely going to be at least $100,000 of giveaway. So big deal. And then we're going to close it out, and everybody should go ahead and make plans to stay an extra day so you can go out on the town and do Nashville, have a nice dinner, go to Broadway, come back, sleep in, go to the water park, and then fly out. That's probably a great plan. So that's what I have to say about that.
Give yourself some time to enjoy it.
Yeah.
It does, I mean, it's like jam-packed and it's a lot of fun, but it's exhausting. It's nonstop. Is there because the venue is so big, is there like a specific meetup spot for people? Like I know in Atlanta, it was just like everybody would be kind of by the bar, right? But the Gaylord's so darn big. Where's the place? Is there a place?
Well, guess what? So I'm so glad you brought that up because that's a big upgrade as well. So the area we were in last year, I don't know if you remember, we walked by the Toastmasters International Conference.
Yeah.
And it was a bigger room, and they had this giant foyer that you could easily cordon off.
Yeah.
That's where we're going to be. We're in that
nice
stage, and we're cordoning off that the ante room or that foyer area, and we're having cash bars there. So that's the mini. So instead of like, I'll meet you at Fuse, or I'm going to meet you at the Bojangles or whatever. You meet right there in front of the room. We've got cash bars there. We're bringing the bar to you for that networking time to maximize your time, meet all the people, and not be lost walking all over the place. You still go wherever you want, but we're making it really easy.
That's huge.
Yeah. Well, hey.
I dig it.
Yeah, I can't go into the details because I don't know them. The VIP package Jonathan is our CEO for the huge convention, and he's like 10x the value of the VIP package. It's kind of off the charts. I think it's $800. So it's a little more than it was last year's $500, but it comes with physical things that you get that are worth that much. Like it's way worth it. I want the VIP package. Guess what? I can't even get it.
You're not allowed.
What's up? I can't buy a VIP package for myself. I'm just going to show up.
Sucks to suck. Sid. Hey, I gotta run, Sid, and I know you got like 2 more shows to do yet. I gotta go pick up the kids, and we got family coming over and all that fun stuff. But we got Paul Cassander coming up on the huge live, and that's in less than an hour. That's in 45 minutes at 5 Central, 6 Eastern. No, 5 Eastern. No, 6 Eastern. I was right the first time.
There we go.
Time zones, clocks, and then Jim's the hour after that, so he's at 7 Eastern. I'm a little jealous I won't be on those 2. But you'll crush it. You'll have fun. Let me know how it goes. I do get to talk to Jim tomorrow. We have our weekly meeting tomorrow, so I get to see Jim tomorrow. Lucky
oh, cool. Tell him I said hi.
I will. And likewise.
Okay.
Sid, thanks for jumping on. Oh, check this out. I can do this too because it's a radio show. I can play us out with some play out music. Look at that. I'm getting good at this like show hosting. Not good. I'm getting good enough at this show hosting thing that they haven't taken the show away from me. Kind of like emceeing an event. Like I was good enough to get invited back. I didn't get kicked out yet.
You got a radio talk show and DJ skills. That's pretty impressive.
Hey, I'm pumped. This like I hope everybody else got pumped, but selfishly, this one's for me. I'm pumped about the huge this year, Sid. I'm freaking stoked.
It's a thing.
Dude, we're gonna have a blast. Business nerds. First, before I sign us out, go check out, is it thehugeconvention.com or hugeconvention.com? Thehugeconvention.com. Go over to thehugeconvention.com. Get your tickets. It's in Nashville. You'll have a blast. August 23rd through 25th. And you guys know what to do. Work smarter and harder. Go get yourself some pride and get your butt to the huge convention in Nashville in August. We'll see you there. Sid, thanks for coming on, man. And everybody check out the huge live within the hour here for Paul Cassander coming on with Sid and hearing what he's got to say.
Roger that. Thank you, Dan. It's good to see you,
guys. Peace out.